Buongiorno a tutti, permettetemi solo 2 parole in italiano, poi parlerò in inglese perché è la lingua ufficiale del programma. Volevo ringraziare gli organizzatori di questa molto interessante conferenza. Io sono Chiara Casarella, appunto vivo e lavoro a Vienna e quindi anche questa ricerca, questi risultati che si cominciano a intravedere in questo progetto molto interessante mi toccano in qualche modo anche direttamente, quindi volevo esprimere anche questa parte personale rispetto a questo progetto. So now we'll switch to English. Like I said, it's the official language of the program, so we are used to using this language. I'm very happy to be here, like I said. This project, I have to say, is a very specific one. There are several projects which are funded by the Central Europe program, which are relating in a way to demographic change, to brain drain, and to linking the labor market to the new establishment, to the new and evolving society. But this project is the only one that is touching really upon return migration. And we also know that at the European level, and we've learned from this project that it is also sometimes hard to get some data about it. So we put a lot of expectations in this project. We are very interested in, we will be very interested in looking then at the final results. So I will just tell you what I will be doing with you today very quickly. I will be going through our context, what is the Central Europe program, for those of you who may not be fully aware of it. I will talk about our context, our program in detail, the new phase of the program, a few words on demographic change and knowledge development, which is a broader theme for your return project, and a little bit about the future, how the program will be shaped in the future, because you may know now that we are in a way going through the final phase of the program, which is the so-called programming period of 2007-2013. And then there are now is the moment where 2014-2020 program is being shaped. So I will give you some indication and some information, preliminary information of how this is going to happen and what we think it may look like. So we are here. We are in the framework of the European cohesion policy. We have been here for 7 years now. We're talking about European territorial cooperation within the Central Europe program. And we are not just one program. We are part of a wider picture. And what we call transnational cooperation programs, such as the Central Europe program, our program, the program that is funding the return project is covering a larger area of the European Union countries. There are some programs which deal with cross-border cooperation, but our program is a transnational cooperation program, meaning that we are interested in looking at a larger regions, a larger territory of the European regions together as a whole. So here we are. There are small maps. I'm sure you know where we are, who you're working with, and we have a good coverage of the countries of Central Europe in this project, in return. And this is clearer who we are, the Central Europe program. You know, there's 9 countries, over 60 cities and regions, thousands of people working with us. We like to say always that it is about the people, after all, that we are talking about. So until now, we were focusing on program priorities, as you did when you designed your project, you chose to be part of the innovation priority, as we used to call it, as we call it, because you were talking about knowledge development, and this is how you chose your area of intervention within this project. Until now, and as I said, it's 2013 now, the program is going to an end. There won't be any more calls now, and we have 124 approved projects. We have allocated to the projects all the funds that we had available. And now, in a way, as I said, we're going through a phase where, despite the fact that the program is going towards an end, this is not the end, because this is really the moment where we can learn from the results of the project. So we are going towards the phase where we would like to gather the results that you, as projects, have come to show us, basically, with your research, with your pilot actions, with your very, very interesting findings. So we like to say that we're moving from a phase, from, as we say, from application, from the application form, all these technicalities that you wrote in your application form, all these words that are becoming facts, that are not just ideas. You had an idea which you managed to put into writing, and now you are showing us the first results. All of you, all the projects, all the 124 projects that we have. So this is why we like to say that we're moving towards the phase of capitalization, and we are in a phase where we would like to promote the sustainability and the durability of the projects, and mostly to spread the achievements of the project. As someone was mentioning before me, what we have, the research, the findings of your research within this project should be brought to a higher level, where these findings can become, maybe, hopefully, some policy guidelines for those who can change really things then at the policy level. So we call it the seeding function of transnational cooperation, where projects can be a starting point for tackling regional challenges, as the Return project is doing, and to create especially follow-up opportunities by opening up doors. And as I've just said, the transnational projects that can contribute to the program general and thematic objectives and to generate durable impacts. So in a way, this is a moment for our program to become a catalyst for further actions. For this reason, we are not talking about priorities anymore. We are not talking about or just priority 1.3, as you wrote in your application form. I'm sure all project partners remember that very well. But we're talking about thematic themes, thematic areas, themes that can be sold to the outside world. If we're doing a lot of effort to detach ourselves from the technical language of the projects, and to translate this technical language into, let's call it normal language, whereby people who are working outside of the project, but who are interested in our project, can understand really what we're doing and can benefit from it. And as I was saying before, we are doing an effort to talk about our results in a way that can be brought up to a higher level, to the policy level, because this is what we're interested in ourselves. So in this, let's say, new new wave, your project falls into the category, into the thematic area of demographic change and knowledge development, because this is exactly what the Return project is about. And by calling things by a different name, by calling things by what they are really, we also managed to draw a picture of the linkages that the projects have generated in the Central Europe area. So by talking about themes and not just about priorities, but talking about themes and talking about what projects are actually doing, I can show you the picture of the extent of cooperation and the number of linkages that the projects have managed to create in our Central Europe area. This is the picture of the all 124 projects. So it's interesting to see where the strongest linkages are. You see that there's this, there are some triangles. There's a triangle in this, the heart of Europe, of how much people are cooperating, how much partners are cooperating, how much projects are linking cities and regions among themselves. And this is your thematic area. This is demographic change and knowledge development. And these are the linkages that projects such as yours are actually creating in our area. I think this is very interesting because it shows a lot. It shows where cooperation could be stronger. It shows where cooperation is already existing. And this is a nice picture of also where we could give indications for the future as well. So basically, I would like to emphasize the fact that projects in demographic change and knowledge development are trying, in general, and are actually developing transnational strategies, are creating structures of cooperations, are prompting actions by the local authorities. All of our projects in this thematic field. And I would like just to spell out some of the things that the projects are doing, some of the achievements that the projects are doing, and by naming a few of them. Also for you, maybe sometimes you meet, talk about the Return project, you're all wrapped into your activities and into yourselves because you have to do things, because you have to deliver, because then the JTS will ask for reports and for all those administrative papers that we are always asking you for. But of course, there's more to it than that, and there are other people that are doing similar things. Like I said, your project is one of its kind because there are no other projects in the Central Europe program that are dealing specifically with return migration, such as your project is doing. But like I said, there's a lot of projects that are dealing with demographic change and knowledge development, and some of the actions, some of the activities, some of the research that they are also carrying out may be interesting for you, just to check or compare to, and so on. So there are two, let's say, in this thematic area, there are two slightly different sub-areas, let's put it this way. One is what we call cooperating to preserve the region's most precious resource, and which is the people, of course, because it's then all about people after all. And so we are doing things such as adapting services for younger generations, and this you can find in the Euro project, for example, attracting and retaining competencies for regional growth, and this is this is a Return project, but this is also the IDEA project, which you may have already heard about. Then we have projects dealing more with the attractiveness of shrinking regions and cities, or improving the accessibility of scarcely populated areas. Then we have matching skills with business needs, which can also apply to you in a way, and to other projects as well. And then we have another, let's say, sub-area, which is focusing on the integration of the aged and disadvantaged citizens, which is linking existing structures to the labor market as well, such as you are trying to do, but with a special attention to the aging population, to the, let's say, elderly population. And we have quite a few projects on this topic. They are dealing with different aspects of it. Some are more focused on at the policy level, some are more focused on pilot actions, and you can see here what we're doing. You can see the list of projects underneath, like Sea Aging Platform, HELPS, Q Aging, and others. So I made a list, which I've already talked about. I will not go through it, but you can have it. It's going to be there. You see some of these projects that can be interesting for you as well. It's interesting, some projects which are dealing with knowledge development and are like ET-Struct. I remember we had discussed about it already, and they are actually trying to set up structures among the so-called triple helix for training and education, the business and the policy level. So this is also interesting as an example for the Return project. So now we are going to the an outlook to the future. The programming process for the next programming period. As I said, it's coming to this year. We're in 2013, so next year, hopefully at the end of next year, the first call of the new program will be launched. But in the meantime, there's a lot of activities that are being done by the countries which belong to the Central Europe program, with the steering group, Central Europe 2014, which is working on the proposal for the cooperation areas, it's working on strategic choices. Some of these activities have been done already, have already taken place, like the cooperation areas, and it should remain the same. A territorial analysis has already been carried out. And the thematic concentration, so what themes will be chosen for the next programming period. And it appears that as we stand now, it seems that demographic change will be a horizontal issue, because you can't avoid thinking of demographic change now, especially with the crisis, especially in the moment that we are living now. So this is what it will look like. The OP is the operational program. The process of drafting the OP will last until next year, until is done, until it's finished. It's interesting maybe for you all to know that there are some consultations that will take place with the stakeholders. There'll be national stakeholder dialogues that are starting in April, until April next year. Then there will be an online survey that is starting April this year, and you can participate in it, of course. And then we would like to invite you to the Central Europe Annual Conference, which will also give the opportunity, will be a platform for some stakeholder dialogues, which will take place in Padua in Italy, on the 13th, from the 13th to the 15th of May of this year. And I'm sure you have all already received the information about it and the invitation. So that's it from my side. Thank you again for the invitation and for your attention.